So I'm Damien Escobar. I'm Global Chief Music Officer here at Havas, and I lead a sonic marketing agency called Art of Sound. I sit at the intersection of music, sound, and culture. I am absolutely addicted to the power of sound. There's no other way to put it. I love the power of sound. I love the impact that sound has on people and human beings. And I'm here to make sure that sound has a true place in brand comms. It's something that was severely underutilized, and I am shaking ish up.
And why do you think sound is so underrated? Why is it so overlooked in brand campaigns?
Sound happens around us, it's everywhere. I compare sound to a marriage that's you've been married for about 50 years. It's like you start to take it for granted, right? Like any relationship you've had for a long time, you have to find different ways to stay in love with it, right? So in that, it's something that it occurs so naturally that we overlook it. In brand communications especially, we look at the end user that we have in communications. It's consumers. Marketing is moving from more of that linear approach to now being this social asset, right? And we know that brands that want to play in culture, and culture is at the heart of where we are. And just looking at where the eyeballs are, a lot of brands are moving that linear spend to online, to OVs, the digital spends, digital marketing, social media. Sound is at the heart of those platforms. Brands have to have clear audio strategy. We have to be able to connect with the end user, right? For example, if we have a brand that we know is 28 to 35, over indexes Hispanic, why are you going to put a Kenny Chesney song on a spot? That's not going to target, that's not going to resonate there. We know sound has the biggest opportunity for recall. We know it has the biggest opportunity for just overall affinity for a brand. So it's a no-brainer. It's like the obvious thing. It just blows my mind that it's something
so obvious that people don't do it. Yeah. What evidence is there, or is there any new evidence, new research that talks to how music is and sound is so emotionally potent in campaigns?
I mean, there's tons, there's tons. Yeah. I'd like to say, look, the work we did for OGX is a testament to that. OGX came to us last year, and they had a recall issue. So when we saw the RFP, their thing was recall. We said, well, sound is at the heart of that. Number one, repair brand in the world. No one knew the name. So we said, okay, cool. Let's give them a sound-led platform idea where sound is at the heart of it. And the campaign was super successful. Without getting into the data, I can just say that off the back of that campaign, Havas won the brand globally, which for us showed the real impact. But there's so many other campaigns that have utilized sound as the hero that have actually, changed the game. We know it's an overall 20% readiness to buy. We know that as a fact. We know audio branding cues outperform any other brand asset by 8 times any other brand asset, including celebrity partnerships. And it's significantly less, as far as budgeting for it, it's significantly less. So there's no excuse. And I just think in our industry, it's a lot of rinse and repeat status quo. You have CCOs leaving this agency and going to another one. Yeah. There's no new blood being infused, right? No innovative thinking, So on my team specifically, I like pulling folks in that don't necessarily have an advertising background. If you do, then it's like, cool, but I like pulling the folks in that have an alternative POV. I can teach anybody how to advertise and market. I want to know the thing that makes you think differently. I want to bring that here in at Havas in this specific group. So super excited about that. Great ideas happen when you have great creative and a great client. It takes both, and then that's when the good work gets into the world and we see the brands that are really in culture. They have the combination of the two. I tell folks all the time, guys, you got to push your clients. Mm-hmm. They didn't hire us to be yes men. They hired us to give them alternative way of thinking. And if you're just sitting here afraid to lose your job, then you're not in the right place. This is Brands and Culture. We're at the intersection of culture and how brands influence culture.
And you've got to lead culture, right? Not follow. So that's what you're there to do. And tell us then, how can sound be deployed as a strategic asset? You talked a bit about one case study, but any other ways that you've really used it strategically in the work that you've done for clients?
Sound is a starting point for us. So as for brands, all of our brands we work with have sonic strategy. the same way a brand has brand strategy, we look at the brand strategy and infuse sonic strategy. That's step one for us. So for example, again, I gave you the example of brands leveraging certain communities based off of the consumer set. That's our same approach. I want to know for our brands across the board, who are we talking to, who are we targeting, what are our competitors doing, and where's the white space? Because for us, that's going to inform even, say if we wanted to partner with a mega, artist. Yeah. If I understand the sonic strategy for a brand, it's going to lead me to who we should be partnering with, because I know what's going to resonate with my target audience. So our approach across the board really leans into strategy, right? We have some great team of composers on staff, music supervisors, etc., who really know music, but the strategy really informs that. And I think that's something that's really unique in our business, because we're looking at it as a true asset, as a true differentiator for a brand.
Amazing. And then can you tell us a few ways that you think brands are being really creative with sound and music in new ways? What's inspired you recently?
I mean, a lot of work I can't talk about that I'm seeing on the in the jury for Cannes. A lot of things I'm like, it's a lot of that innovative marketing. I think there's a theme that I'm seeing consistently in the work that's really stepping out. It's how do you utilize sound through a funnel, right? Like in it, not just, hey, let's create this great track, and like look at what Elf has done. Elf has created culture, for the brand. They started out with this really big idea over COVID, and they released it on TikTok. It blew up. They could have stepped away from that equity, right? They created this equity. They could have stepped away, but now 5 years later, Elf just released the Get Ready With Me mixtape with up and coming artists, and it was just brilliant, right? Like I'm seeing a theme where sound is being leveraged as a phase one, phase two, phase three, because getting to that North Star, which is, look at what NPR did with Tiny Desk, right? Like, let's look at that rebrand, how NPR is now in culture, to this culture staple. I'm seeing this theme where brands are really leaning in and championing the up and coming innovative influencer, right? Not necessarily leaning into celebrity. I think that shit is cool, but it's kind of like, I've been there, done that. There's so many incredible creatives that brands can really lean into now, champion them, and then they get the brands get two bites at the apple. One, they get looked at as a brand that's championing the innovator. They're part of that journey, which is the feel-good brand. The other side of it, they get to actually have that equity that they're building in culture and music and something that is just like absolutely the smartest thing any brand can do. So I'm seeing a lot of that across brands. Dove does a really good job at doing that. Elf is a really great brand that does that very, very well. There's so many, and I'm seeing a lot more in the work that I'm judging during the Lions is really apparent. I'm like, okay, I love this.
Good. So it's getting better, right? You're seeing improvements.
Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely.
Good. And then I guess talking about Cannes, and to finish on, you are hosting a session at Brands&Culture. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, we're talking about sound. We're talking about how exactly what we talked about here, how we're utilizing sound as a superpower, right? And the opportunity to do that and just asking just really real questions. I think this is something to get real about. And I'm super excited to bring this to Brands&Culture. We have a great panel. I'm super excited to bring it there. We're going to be, I'm going to have my rosé in one hand and I'm going to have a conversation. I'm looking forward to doing it. And I'm glad you guys are having us a part of it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month.
That's right. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Charlotte.
Thanks, Damien.